So before we get started, I guess we'll do a little bit of introductions. Aloha, my name is Anna. I work at Palama Settlement. I teach elementary school kids how to program computers by helping them write their own software through video games that are usually cultural and place-based. And we also work with a high school population of kids who, for one reason or another, aren't fitting in at their regular high school. So we offer an alternative learning center there. Let's go ahead and do, introductions.
Aloha, everyone. My name is Aisha Heredia. I work at Hawaii Kids Can. I'm one of a small team of 2 here in the islands, and we work for student voice in the state and school structures, so students have a place to share their opinions and also make changes in their communities. Former educator, and I have a passion for school foods because I also used to work in the line of trying to change school foods across the state. So Kylan, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Kylan. I'm a software developer and I live in Las Vegas. I just like to eat the school food.
Hi, I'm Casey. I work at Palama Settlement too. I teach graphic design, and yep, I eat lunch too, I think.
Nice. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and sort of frame the problem or the opportunity, as Dan put it in one of our early classes. Not everything is necessarily a problem, but maybe an opportunity to improve upon. So let me go ahead and share. Let me go full screen. There we go. Okay, so so this is actually something that I pitched to class pretty early on, and it starts all the way here where I work at Palama Settlement. Like I said, I work with elementary school kids, but the problem or whatever that we're centering on today is mainly with our high school students. There's this one student, and I can't say his name, but we get students from all over that come to this community center. So it's not just Hawaiians, there's also a large Micronesian population. And there's this one student in particular who was from Chuuk, and he was staying at this place called Hōʻike, and they were feeding him, or supposedly they were offering him food. And but he always came to school hungry and always so tired. And there's already so many other like obstacles in his path to success that food should not be one of them. And we sort of asked him that day, like, what's going on? Like, I figured that they were feeding you, what's happening? And he said that the only option was oatmeal. And he doesn't like oatmeal. Oatmeal is not a cultural food in Chuuk at all. And I chose this picture here because this is what you think oatmeal looks like, but really it winds up looking like something like this, very sad. So instead of eating the food that was offered to him, he chose to starve himself instead. And then, oh, well, it went to the military base, but the map bit didn't load, so that's fine. So I talked with my friends and myself, and it turns out that school lunches are all kind of the same across all of America, and not even just in America, but also anywhere like this military base in Okinawa. And she said that her food was sort of the same, like pizza and milk and a cheese stick, and she hadn't really ever heard about vegetable prep or anything until she was out of there. So I started doing research into who makes these decisions for the food for all of the children across America and even outside of America. And it turns out it's a place that's really, really, really far away. It's actually all the way, way across the globe, all the way on the East Coast is the USDA Food and Nutrition Service. And 2020 marks the year that people gather and they plan food for the next 5 years. So this month marks the end of their deliberations. For the next 5 years, it's set in stone. And so what we're looking at is an opportunity for because this is great. It's wonderful to feed children. It's awesome that there is a program for children to get food. But as you saw with that student I mentioned earlier, he chose not eating. He chose starving himself over eating the food that was offered. So clearly there is an opportunity for improvement. So we chose to focus in on a school nearby, Eva Mackay Middle School, to try and see if we could address this problem. So I'm going to turn it over to Aisha, and she's going to talk about what our solution is, or yeah.
Mahalo, Anna, for framing the problem or opportunity. So we decided that we need to start with some things that we know. We know at least two things: that there isn't much room for student input on the types of food that they eat at school, right? Students usually are the last people to be asked for their opinions, but they're the people who are going to be served in the cafeteria. We also know that there's room for change, either at the school level or at the state level, or even at the USDA level, who creates the school food menus. But we needed evidence on how and why to create that change. You just don't go to an institution and say, we want a completely different menu. We need data from our students that says we actually want these changes. So we created Grindz. It's an app that is very similar to Instagram. We decided to craft this app very similar to that app because students are already used to using it. It's easily understandable. You take a picture and you share a review of your food. So we're starting out with getting student voice, with them sharing about the meals that they're being provided. And Got Grindz is the first part of our solution, our student food journal, Food for Your Thoughts. So I'm going to pass this over to Kylan, who is going to explain a little bit about our development process.
When we first got the problem, we knew that we kind of wanted to have a mobile app just so that it would be easier for students to be able to quickly log onto their phone and write down what they had for lunch and then move on with their day. And so given the assignment from Purple Maya to make our own personal Glide apps, we kind of saw how limiting Glide was in the beginning. So Vic challenged us to try and create an app from scratch, which is hard. It's hard to do in 3 weeks. And so we were planning on deciding on technologies and to create the app and stuff like that. And after a week of not even being able to decide what we should do, we kind of decided, okay, we just need to get something tangible. So we, stuck with Glide, even though it has limitations because it's a free app, it's a free platform. But it's really easy considering the time frame and the time restrictions that we had to use something that was a no-code platform. So we made the Glide app and we made the website using Webflow. And what's really nice about using Glide apps is that the code can be replicated, or I guess the no code could be replicated to different schools. So say, for example, we started with Eva Mackay, but one day we want to start with like another middle school, right? So each school can have their own separate app that can just be replicated with their own sheet. So that was one of the, I guess, blessings in disguise that we had for using Glide apps. So I guess I'll pass it over to Casey so we can show you the actual app because it's pretty awesome.
All right, give me 1 second. Nope. Yep. Cool. So this is our app. Let me refresh it to make it look like I'm a student. So you would sign in, make an account, and these would be the posts over here. You would make your profile. That is a picture of me in 8th grade. Just kidding. And then you would post a photo. So say if I'm doing that one, it would be of apples. If you wanted to add tags, I'm not really good at that. My overall reaction I think I like apples, so I'm gonna go with that one. And it would be either breakfast, lunch, or snack. It'd be snack. Yeah, hold on. And I would go, oh, how does it looks good. I think it smells all right, tastes pretty good. Probably gonna drink water with it. Water is usually good. And your reaction to how you felt after the food. I would say, and these are all your choices. So I would say wonderful. And then I would submit it. And now I have a post on here. And yeah. And then these are your users. And yeah, cool. So, yep, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen.
Cool. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and show you the other side of it, because what's the point of having all of these students share all the photos of their meal and rate them if we can't actually have the data be aggregated in some way that's easy to see, so that the admin and the food meal planners can look and see what needs changing. So let me share screen, share, and then where is it? No. Okay, the Zoom bar. There we go. Okay. So, and if you know me, you know that I love data. I love graphs. So up at the top in this hamburger menu, there is an admin view. And the admin view has a bunch of graphs, but the first thing that you can do that you can't do from the student view, and this admin view would be restricted by email address to whoever the admin is for the school, so that some of the data is confidential. So you can sort all posts like you've seen before. You can sort things by the reaction, by what meal it was, and then even from here you can search. So I think I saw someone put in the worst, like, so you can search those hashtags, and then someone here, the worst is these breadsticks, and it made them feel irritated. So you can see right away, or like you can even search by like spaghetti, and you can see the spaghetti lunch made people feel bloated and sluggish right off the bat. And then from there, you can also look at all these super colorful graphs. So this first graph is the average overall tally. Like when you saw Casey choose those emojis of like 1 to 5, from like heart eyes to I'm almost gonna Ralph, that is the overall tally based on the meal. So if I was a meal planner, I would look at this and say, overall, it seems like snacks compared to the other meals are not doing as great. So maybe that's something I need to look at. And then this is a graph that shows you, if I click, yes, and drag, then you can see sort of the overall emotions that people are having based on the meal plan that they have. And of course, our average drink ratings, juice is not doing so hot, milk is doing great, and then average look, smell, taste ratings. But where it really gets into the meat of it, or the like nitty-gritty data, is what specific foods are doing well. Like this data is all well and fine if you can see snacks aren't good, but maybe some of the snacks are doing well, but the overall average is going down because of something else. So that's where we get into our detailed data. So you can see here, these are the overall reactions. The things that are doing the best is spaghetti. The things that's doing the worst is the taco salad. You can look at it based on looks, if maybe that's something that you want to approach the staff, the kitchen staff at your school for, of like, hey, maybe the taco salad is rated so poorly because it just looks terrible. Like maybe it's tasting fine. You can go based on the smell rating as well. Spaghetti is really high rated. You can also go based on looks, based on taste, and then here you can also see what are they not eating, because it's also important to see what food kids are picking off. So, and also like these would be kid responses, so we don't know how they would be spelled, which is why we kept it in a graph like this, because we can't guarantee with a drop-down menu that they'd be picking off the same things. So this is sort of like an easy way for people to see like, okay, they're not eating a bunch of stuff, or this person didn't eat anything. And then same sort of deal with snacks, like our Spam musubis are doing great, the string cheese not so much, and that is a trend all the way through our snacks. And what are they not eating? They don't like Brussels sprouts. I don't like this kind of cheese is something. And same thing with our breakfast. We can see lasagna, which was a mystery to me. And of course, all these posts are fake. All these posts are us. But I guess we're eating lasagna for breakfast and loving it. Waffles is great. The breadsticks are not doing great. And then all the way at the bottom, you can see our drinks data, but also our vegetable ratings. So you can see what vegetables the kids are actually eating and which ones they like. Yeah, the admin view I feel like is something that we can also customize as well. So if someone at the school said, hey, I would really like to see a graph based on, because this feeling right now is, again, just an average. We don't know what meals are making them feel energized or sluggish or bloated. But that's something that's really easy to customize to add more graphs based on the feelings correlated to the food that they're eating. So I'm going to turn this over to Aisha, and she's going to talk about our second phase for this, because this is just phase 1.
Thank you, Anna. So part of the hurdles we had in creating this is that we actually want real student feedback. However, it's the summertime and there's been this thing like figuring out how we're going to go back to school with COVID. So we've reached out to some administrators, friends at Eva Mackay, and we are hoping to get 3 teachers to help pilot this in their health and nutrition courses. Maybe sneak it in a lesson about actually what you're eating and the colors of the rainbow. That's kind of like a slogan they had for school foods, to eat the rainbow. But we can actually right now get some feedback from those administrators. And in the past, I've worked in this field of trying to change school foods menus, and it's a very complicated space of where they're resourcing their food from. Like, is it from local farms, which it's never, or is it from a big aggregate resource, either like the Department of Defense or like Cisco Foods, which is a giant aggregate food source. You never really know where they're getting their school foods from unless you ask the school foods administrator, the manager. So this app is helping us aggregate a lot of data on school preferences, the student preferences. So eventually when there's an administrator to talk to, like the school foods manager, they can see exactly what Anna was talking about, so they could adjust their menus. And then maybe this can go into a larger conversation of where we're sourcing our food. Also, phase 2, after maybe a semester of testing, we would have the students actually rate or modify their menu based on what is the lowest rated food, what is the highest rated food, and give their input. Right now, we're just collecting the data so that we have something to work on for phase 2. And this is actually, we were only able to get a small amount of feedback considering what teachers are being asked right now is impacting their schedules. But we got feedback from somebody who used to work in nutrition with a young woman who had to create a food journal. And they said it was really inspiring. This app would have been so great because the young woman they were working with was always so bored with writing, and it was so challenging to create a food journal because of the kind of dyslexia that she had. So we tried to make the app really user-friendly, really appealing to kids, and something that they're very used to. I think one of my big takeaways in working on this project is that we were blessed with such a great team of 2 professional coders, a professional graphic designer, and I'm a project manager. So it was awesome to have a very competent team that was just used to looking at Trello and getting things done. And I really appreciate Makers for bringing us all together, because I hope that we can continue in our project and change school foods in the future. So if you check out our website, gotgrindz.webflow.io, you can see a little bit more about the ins and outs, or you could download Got Grindz by using the QR code right here. And I guess I'll just ask anybody else from the team if you want to share your thoughts about the process and or creating or designing our app.
I mean, I guess I just want to echo what you said. Our team is incredible. We've been very blessed with having a very well-balanced team and also super competent. It was awesome to like brainstorm logo designs and all of that. And I feel like we brought a lot of like the discussions that we had during the creation of this app was really, especially during this time of quarantine, it was like a really good mental brain exercise. I loved it. And I'm going to miss seeing you guys 3 times a week. Yeah.
Yeah, I second that. I work from home now, so having someone to look forward to like this class was really nice during quarantine. But also our group got really close. Like so it was just nice to have people to talk to and work with, and not have to be worried about work and just do fun stuff. So, and then it was also nice kind of forcing myself to learn these new technologies that I probably would have never ventured out on my own. Because being a professional software developer, it's like love-hate relationship with these kinds of softwares. But yeah, it's good to know. It's good to have under your tool belt. So yeah, thank you. Thank you to everyone at Makers.
Yeah, it was a super fun process as well. It helped that we had a really great group. Yeah, in learning all the new technologies and whatnot. Also, it was also fun when we were even coming up with a name. In our other meetings, we had like a lot of crazy brainstorming stuff. Same with like, yeah, the logo and everything. It was just, yeah, got super lucky. Thank you.